The Story of Germany, Historical Journey. Germany, the heart of Europe. A nation of poets and thinkers, engineers and composers. A land that gave the world Gutenberg and Goethe, Bach and Beethoven, Einstein and the Autobahn. Yet also a nation haunted by its darkest chapter, responsible for the greatest crime in human history, the Holocaust. This is the story of how Germanic tribes who defeated Roman legions became the Holy Roman Empire, how that medieval patchwork fragmented into hundreds of states, how Prussia forged them into a powerful nation, and how Germany descended into totalitarian horror before rising as a democratic powerhouse and the engine of European unity. To understand modern Germany, its federal structure, its historical consciousness, its commitment to democracy and European integration, we must understand this complex, often tragic journey. Our story begins 2,000 years ago, in the dark forests beyond Rome's frontier. Germanic tribes to Holy Roman Empire. Germanic tribes and Rome. Ancient forests, tribal societies. 2,000 years ago, the Rhine River marked Rome's northern frontier. Beyond lay Germania, dense forests inhabited by Germanic tribes the Romans considered barbarians. These tribes, Saxons, Franks, Alemanni, Goths, Vandals, were warrior societies organized by kinship and loyalty to chieftains. In 9 CE, Germanic tribes under Arminius ambushed 3 Roman legions in the Teutoburg forest, annihilating them. Augustus reportedly beat his head against walls crying, "Quintilius Varus, give me back my legions." Rome never conquered Germania beyond the Rhine. Migration and transformation. From the 4th century, Germanic tribes migrated south and west, the Völkerwanderung, migration period. Pressure from Huns pushing from the east triggered mass movements. Germanic tribes crossed Roman borders, initially as refugees and mercenaries, eventually as conquerors. Visigoths sacked Rome in 410. Vandals conquered North Africa. Ostrogoths ruled Italy. The Franks settled in Gaul. Anglo-Saxons invaded Britain. The Western Roman Empire collapsed under these invasions, but Germanic peoples absorbed Roman culture, Christianity, and administrative practices. Charlemagne and the Holy Roman Empire. Frankish Empire. Germanic power rises. The Franks built the most successful Germanic kingdom. Under the Merovingian and then Carolingian dynasties, they conquered much of Western Europe. In 800 CE, Pope Leo III crowned the Frankish king Charlemagne as Emperor of the Romans. Charlemagne ruled an empire spanning modern France, Germany, and northern Italy. He promoted Christianity, established schools, and created a centralized administration. His court at Aachen became a center of learning. The Carolingian Renaissance preserved classical texts and revived education. Division and the German Kingdom. After Charlemagne's death, his empire was divided among his grandsons. The Treaty of Verdun in 843 created East Francia, essentially Germany, as a separate realm. This is often considered Germany's birth as a political entity, though Germany didn't exist as a concept yet. The Holy Roman Empire. In 962, Otto I, King of East Francia, was crowned emperor by the Pope, establishing what became the Holy Roman Empire. This sprawling, decentralized entity claimed to be Rome's successor and Christendom's protector. It would last until 1806, but as Voltaire later quipped, it was neither holy, nor Roman, nor an empire. The empire was a federation of territories, duchies, bishoprics, free cities, with an elected emperor. The emperor was powerful in theory but weak in practice, constantly negotiating with territorial princes. This decentralization would define German history for centuries. Medieval Germany flourished economically. The Hanseatic League, a confederation of merchant cities including Hamburg and Lübeck, dominated Baltic and North Sea trade. German miners and craftsmen were Europe's finest. Gothic cathedrals rose in Cologne and Ulm. Reformation to fragmentation, Luther and religious. Revolution, the world changes. On October 31st, 1517, an obscure monk named Martin Luther nailed his 95 Theses to a church door in Wittenberg, challenging Catholic Church practices, particularly the sale of indulgences. He didn't intend to split Christianity, he wanted to reform it. But Luther's ideas, spread rapidly by the printing press, invented by German Johannes Gutenberg in 1440, ignited religious revolution. Luther argued that salvation came through faith alone, not church mediation. He translated the Bible into German, making it accessible to ordinary people. He rejected papal authority. Protestant Reformation. Germany divided. The Reformation split Germany. Northern princes embraced Protestantism, partly from conviction, partly to seize church property and assert independence from Catholic emperor and pope. Southern territories remained Catholic. Emperor Charles V tried to suppress Protestantism but failed. The Peace of Augsburg in 1555 established the principle Quis regio, ius religio. The ruler's religion determines the territory's religion. This confirmed Germany's fragmentation. Each prince decided his realm's faith. 30 Years' War, devastation. 1618 to 1648. Germany's catastrophe. In 1618, religious and political tensions exploded in the 30 Years' War, fought primarily on German soil. What began as Protestant-Catholic conflict became a broader European power struggle involving Sweden, France, Spain, and the Holy Roman Empire. The devastation was apocalyptic. Armies pillaged countryside. Disease and famine followed. Some regions lost 50% of their population. Germany's economy collapsed. Cultural development stalled for generations. Peace of Westphalia. Permanent division. The Peace of Westphalia in 1648 ended the war but confirmed Germany's fragmentation. The Holy Roman Empire nominally continued, but real power lay with over 300 separate territories, kingdoms, duchies, principalities, free cities, and ecclesiastical states. Germany was a geographical expression, not a nation. While France, Spain, and England developed centralized nation-states, Germany remained politically divided, economically backward, and traumatized by war. Yet German culture persisted. In the 18th century, the Enlightenment flourished in German states. Bach composed sublime music. German philosophy reached new heights with Kant. Prussian power and unification. The rise of Prussia. From backwater to great power. In northeastern Germany, the state of Brandenburg-Prussia emerged from obscurity. In 1701, Elector Frederick III crowned himself King Frederick I of Prussia. His grandson, Frederick II, Frederick the Great, transformed Prussia into a European great power. Frederick the Great, 1740 to 1786, was a military genius, enlightened despot, and patron of the arts. He modernized Prussia's administration, army, and economy. He doubled Prussia's territory through warfare and diplomacy. He corresponded with Voltaire and composed music while conquering Silesia. Prussia's character. Prussia developed a distinctive character, militaristic, efficient, disciplined, and authoritarian. The Prussian bureaucracy became Europe's most effective. The Prussian army was drilling and discipline personified. Prussian values, duty, order, obedience, would profoundly influence German culture. Napoleonic trauma and reform. Napoleon's conquest of Germany in 1806 dissolved the Holy Roman Empire and humiliated Prussia. French occupation was traumatic but also transformative. Prussian reformers modernized the state, emancipated serfs, reformed the army, and established universal education. Napoleon's defeat in 1815 left Germany reorganized into 39 states under the German Confederation, still fragmented but fewer and more coherent than before. Unification, blood and iron. Bismarck, the Iron Chancellor. German nationalism grew through the 19th century. Intellectuals, students, and middle classes demanded a unified German nation. But unification required force. In 1862, King Wilhelm I of Prussia appointed Otto von Bismarck as minister-president. Bismarck was a conservative Junker landowner who believed in power politics. The great questions of the day will not be decided by speeches and majority decisions, he declared, but by blood and iron. 3 wars of unification. Bismarck unified Germany through 3 wars. In 1864, Prussia and Austria defeated Denmark over Schleswig-Holstein. In 1866, Prussia defeated Austria in 7 weeks, excluding Austria from German affairs and establishing Prussian dominance. In 1870–71, Bismarck provoked France into war. Prussia and allied German states crushed France. On January 18, 1871, in Versailles' Hall of Mirrors, Wilhelm I was proclaimed German Emperor. The Second Reich, the German Empire, was born. Germany was finally unified under Prussian leadership. Imperial Germany. The new Germany was powerful and dynamic but flawed. It had a constitution and parliament, but the Kaiser retained real power. It industrialized rapidly, becoming Europe's leading economic power. German science, engineering, and culture flourished. But German politics remained authoritarian and militaristic. Bismarck maintained peace through complex diplomacy, but after Wilhelm II dismissed him in 1890, German foreign policy became erratic and aggressive, alarming other European powers. Catastrophe and division. World War I and Weimar Republic, 1914, the world goes mad. In August 1914, Europe stumbled into World War I. Germany fought on 2 fronts, against France and Britain in the west, Russia in the east. For 4 years, millions died in industrialized slaughter. Germany held out until 1918, then collapsed suddenly. The German Empire fell. Kaiser Wilhelm II fled to exile. On November 11, 1918, Germany signed an armistice, defeated and exhausted. Over 2 million Germans had died. Versailles and Weimar. The Treaty of Versailles imposed harsh terms. Germany lost territory, colonies, and military power, and was forced to accept Soul War guilt and pay massive reparations. Germans felt humiliated. The new Weimar Republic was Germany's first democracy, with a progressive constitution guaranteeing rights and freedoms. The 1920s saw brilliant cultural flowering, Bauhaus architecture, expressionist film, cabaret culture, scientific breakthroughs. But Weimar faced constant crisis. Hyperinflation in 1923 destroyed savings, political extremists from left and right attempted coups, and the Great Depression after 1929 brought mass unemployment and desperation. Democracy was blamed for Germany's problems. Nazi Germany and the Holocaust. Hitler's rise, democracy's death. Adolf Hitler, an Austrian-born veteran, built the Nazi Party on resentment, nationalism, and antisemitism. He blamed Jews, communists, and November criminals who signed the armistice for Germany's defeat. He promised to restore German greatness. The Nazis won increasing support during the Depression. In January 1933, Hitler was appointed Chancellor. Within months, he established a totalitarian dictatorship, banning other parties, controlling media, and creating a police state. The Third Reich. Hitler rearmed Germany, violating Versailles. He persecuted Jews with increasingly brutal laws. In 1938, he annexed Austria and Czechoslovakia's Sudetenland. Britain and France appeased him, desperate to avoid war. On September 1, 1939, Germany invaded Poland. World War II began. For 6 years, Germany waged total war across Europe, conquering most of the continent. The Holocaust, ultimate evil. But Nazi Germany's worst crime was the Holocaust, the systematic murder of 6 million Jews and millions of others, including Roma, disabled people, political opponents, and LGBTQ individuals. This was industrialized genocide, unprecedented in human evil. Names like Auschwitz represent humanity's darkest hour. Germany's war ended in May 1945 with total defeat. Hitler committed suicide. German cities lay in ruins. The Third Reich, meant to last 1,000 years, lasted 12. Division and reunification. Cold War partition. Germany was occupied by 4 powers: the United States, Britain, France, and the Soviet Union. As the Cold War intensified, Germany divided. In 1949, the Western zones became the Federal Republic of Germany, West Germany, a democratic state allied with the West. The Soviet zone became the German Democratic Republic, East Germany, a communist dictatorship. Berlin, though inside East Germany, was also divided. In 1961, East Germany built the Berlin Wall to prevent its citizens from fleeing west. The wall became the Cold War's most potent symbol. 2 Germanys. West Germany experienced an economic miracle, becoming Europe's most prosperous nation. Under Chancellor Konrad Adenauer and later Willy Brandt, West Germany embraced democracy, faced its Nazi past, and integrated into Western Europe. It helped found the European Economic Community. East Germany remained a Soviet satellite, economically stagnant and politically repressive, despite its official propaganda. Reunification. The wall falls. In 1989, the Soviet bloc collapsed. On November 9, 1989, the Berlin Wall fell as East Germans surged through. Germans danced atop the wall, crying and celebrating. Families separated for decades reunited. On October 3, 1990, Germany officially reunified. The Cold War division ended. Germany was whole again. Modern Germany and legacy. Reunified Germany. New challenges. Reunification brought joy but also enormous challenges. East Germany's economy was far behind the West. Integrating 2 very different systems proved difficult and expensive. Some East Germans felt like second-class citizens, some West Germans resented the costs. But Germany persevered. Berlin became the capital again. The economy adapted. By the 21st century, Germany had become Europe's economic powerhouse and political leader. European commitment. Modern Germany is fundamentally committed to European unity. Having caused 2 world wars, Germany sees European integration as preventing future conflict. Germany was central to creating the euro and expanding the EU eastward. Chancellor Angela Merkel, who led Germany from 2005 to 2021, became Europe's most influential leader. During the Eurozone crisis, refugee crisis, and Brexit, Germany often held Europe together, though not without controversy. Historical consciousness. Germany's approach to its Nazi past is unique. Unlike Japan, which often minimizes wartime atrocities, Germany confronted its crimes directly. Holocaust education is mandatory. Memorials mark Nazi atrocities. Denying the Holocaust is illegal. Never again is Germany's solemn commitment. This historical consciousness shapes German identity. Germany is wary of nationalism, militarism, and authoritarianism. Its post-war constitution, the Basic Law, emphasizes human dignity, democracy, and checks on power. Federal structure. Germany's federalism reflects its fragmented history. 16 states, Länder, retain significant powers over education, policing, and culture. This decentralization prevents excessive central authority and respects regional identities. Bavaria, Saxony, and Hamburg have distinct characters. Contemporary challenges. Modern Germany faces new challenges: integrating immigrants and refugees, managing relations with Russia and China, addressing climate change, and dealing with the rise of far-right populism. The Alternative for Germany, AfD, party's growth worries many, echoing historical concerns. Germany must balance economic competitiveness with social solidarity, European leadership with national interests, and remembering the past while building the future. Closing and final reflection. From tribal forests to Holocaust perpetrator to democratic leader, Germany's journey is unprecedented. No major nation has undergone such extreme transformations in character and governance. Germany's history teaches powerful lessons. It shows how advanced civilization can descend into barbarism. Germans who loved Beethoven committed genocide. It demonstrates how democracy, once lost, enables unspeakable evil. It proves that nations can change fundamentally. The Germany that perpetrated the Holocaust is not the Germany of today. Germany's contribution. Germany gave the world immeasurable gifts. The printing press revolutionized knowledge. The Reformation transformed Christianity. German philosophy shaped modern thought. German music, Bach, Beethoven, Brahms, Wagner, defined classical tradition. German engineering and precision became legendary. German scientific contributions, from Kepler to Einstein to quantum mechanics, advanced human understanding. Complex legacy. Yet Germany also inflicted unprecedented horror. The Holocaust remains an indelible stain, a crime so enormous it defies comprehension. This duality defines modern German identity, pride in cultural achievements shadowed by the darkest chapter in human history. Looking forward. Today's Germany is peaceful, prosperous, and democratic. It leads Europe not through force but through economic strength and moral authority earned through confronting its past. It's a testament to human capacity for transformation and redemption, though the murdered millions can never be restored. Germany's story isn't just German history. It's a parable about civilization's fragility, democracy's value, and the human capacity for both evil and good. As Germany shapes Europe's future, the world watches a nation determined to ensure its dark past never repeats. From the Teutoburg Forest to the fall of the Berlin Wall, from the Holy Roman Empire to the European Union, Germany endures, powerful, prosperous, and perpetually conscious of its history. This is the end of story of how Germany, the heart of Europe, a nation of poets and thinkers, engineers and composers, a land that gave the world Gutenberg and Goethe, Bach and Beethoven, Einstein and the Autobahn, yet also a nation haunted by its darkest chapter. Subscribe to Timelines of Nations for weekly videos exploring the ancient to modern history of countries around the world.